So we're going to be adding, subtracting, multiplying polynomials. Good news here, all the rules from algebra are still exactly the same. You're just going to have higher degrees than you're probably used to from algebra. Also, they introduced the idea of adding polynomials vertically instead of horizontally as we might be used to. So this may be helpful for some of you to, rewrite them if they're written horizontally, vertically, if it helps you make sure that you combine your like terms. So pretty much, let's take a look at the first example. We're just adding. So we'll start from the left. We have 3x cubed plus x cubed. So this is 4x cubed. We have negative 2x squared minus negative 5x squared. So that's going to be negative 7x squared. We're not adding anything to the 4x. And then we have negative 6 plus 3, which is negative 3. Note how I did not touch my exponents. So just like x plus x is not x squared, and it is 2x, anything that has the same exact exponent on our variable, we can add together or we can subtract together. We are not touching those exponents. It's only when we're multiplying and later when we're dividing that we can touch those exponents and manipulate those using our rules. Alright, so let's look at the next one. So here they are written horizontally. Until you get really good at it, it might be beneficial to you to kind of identify what has the exact same variable and exponent. You may choose not to, but so long as you have everything correct, then you're totally fine. So we see there's no other y cubed, so we have 2y cubed. We have 7y squared and negative 4y squared, so we have plus 3y squared, negative 6y and positive 3y, which is negative 3y, and then we have a negative 9. So we just put all of that together. We notice that we do have it in standard form, which is how we want all of our answers. So we want our degrees decreasing from left to right, so our highest degree is in front. Now let's take a look at some subtraction problems. Now, personally, I like to make sure I distribute my negative to make sure that I don't forget anything. So I'm just going to rewrite this one off on the side. So I have 7x cubed minus 6x squared minus 3x plus 7, and then minus 6x cubed minus 3x cubed plus 7x minus 5. So I just changed the signs of all my numbers, so now I can just add comfortably, making sure that I know I'm not going to miss anything. So here I have x cubed minus 9x cubed plus 4x and plus 2. So once you change it to an addition problem, it's a lot simpler than if you have to think, okay, I'm subtracting, and maybe I'm subtracting a negative, so that way you're just good to go. Right? Let's look at one horizontally. I'm going to identify my common terms. And again, I'm going to, in my second one, distribute my negative, so that way I don't have to think about it later. So I'll have negative 4x squared, positive 4x, and 14. Here's some problems you can try on your own. Go ahead and pause. Try these out. Hopefully you got the same answers as I did. If you, didn't pause, feel free to pause and rework the problems. Hopefully the fact that, things weren't written in standard form in our first one didn't throw you off too much. They will do that occasionally just to make sure that you know what you're doing. Now, they say that you can multiply polynomials vertically too. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this. I'll show you how you can do it if it possibly ends up being something that you like. So how this works is pretty much just how we would multiply 2 or 3 digit numbers by hand. So we're going to take the 2 and multiply it. So we've got 8, and then 2 times negative x minus 2x, and then 6x squared and then we just make sure that we line up our terms. So x times 4 is positive 4x, x times negative x is negative x squared, and then we have a 3x cubed, resulting in 3x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x plus 8. Personally, I usually don't like to rewrite my problems vertically for multiplication because it takes up more room, but if it works for you, hey, all the better. So, otherwise you could just kind of essentially a longer FOIL. So we've got x cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x minus 3x squared minus 6x plus 15. You may also choose to write these, right below so that way you can more easily simplify, but that's totally up to you. So let's look for those common terms. I see I've got multiple x squareds, I've got some x's. So in general, I have x cubed minus x squared minus 11x minus 15. Now with multiplying 3 binomials, you'll multiply 2 of them, and then you'll just multiply by the third. So we'll multiply x minus 3 times x plus 7, and then after we get that, then we'll multiply that similar fashion that we just did with the x plus 1. So if I multiply these, I have x squared plus 7x minus 3x, so I have plus 4x minus 21. And then I'll multiply through with my x plus 1. So I have x cubed plus x squared plus 4x squared plus 4x minus 21x minus 21. Again, we'll look for our like terms. And simplify. So we have x cubed plus 5x squared minus 17x minus 21. There are, just like in algebra, there are some special product properties, they're patterns that you may choose to use. You can still just FOIL out regularly, and it won't change what your answer is. You'll end up getting the same answer. It's just something that, if you recognize it, you can use that as a shortcut. Like we can see, okay, this is going to be difference of 2 squares, and it's going to be x squared minus 4. Cube binomial is really nice, just because that way you don't have to multiply your binomials out, 3 times, but as you can see, the quote-unquote formula is kind of awkward, and you'll probably spend more time trying to remember what the actual formula is than applying it. So if you're a memorizer, it could be something that could be of use to you. But let's just kind of, close out with some practice. So go ahead and pause. I'll work these out, and that way you can check your solutions. So hopefully you agree. I put a star by number 5 just because a lot of times you guys will want to, just distribute my 2. But you have a binomial. Make sure that you, write it out if you need to, and then multiply like you normally would. So that way you don't get into the habit of saying, 6q minus 3r squared is just 36q squared plus 9r squared, because you're missing your middle term. So you just need to be careful about that. So since this is just review algebra in class, we'll go over any questions, but then we'll go straight into an activity. See you in class.